Okay, so it is time for a tutorial on the KORG Volca beats. So let's get right into it. So we're going to start with the sounds, and what we have are 6 analog sounds and 4 PCM sounds, which are basically digital samples. So we've got kick, snare, low tom, high tom, closed hat, open hat, and then for the digital sounds we've got the clap, claves, a go-go and crash. For each sound you've got controls. For the analog sounds we've got these controls here. So for the kick we can change the pitch, we can change the decay, and then we've got a click setting which has that click sound. For the snare we've got similar settings. We've got decay again, we've got a pitch, and we've got a snappy, which seems to add a bit more noise, maybe more crunchy. The toms, we've got a pitch for the low tom and we've got a pitch for the high tom, which is indicated with the red LED. And we've got an overall decay for both of them. It's a shame you can't do that for each one, but I guess they could only fit so much into this tiny machine. Closed hat, we've got a decay for that. So it's a bit more of an open hat, or semi-open, because we've actually got our open hat next. And we've got decay on that as well. And then we have a grain setting, which pretty much controls the pitch. Okay, moving on to the digital sounds. These pretty much as they are. The only control we really have is the PCM speed, but this does get some cool results. And you can record that motion, which we're going to look at in a bit. So now we're going to look at the memory. So you access the memory locations by pressing the memory button and you hold it down, and you see we have 8 slots, and you simply choose which slot you want and then you can play. And you can do this on the fly. If you've made an edit to a pattern and you want to save it, you simply press the function button. And this button is how you access all the secondary functions. So underneath each button you can see it might have an extra function. So underneath memory it has write, so you would press function, write, and then you would just choose where you want to save your pattern. And then it will flash and it's saved. So let's look at how we actually record a pattern. So if I go to memory slot 1, and we'll see what's in there right now. So let's say I want to clear that and start from scratch. There is actually a way you can do that. If you look here, we have clear options. Now we can clear a single part or all of it. So I want to clear all of it, so you press function and then just hit all. And now that should be empty, and if we play it we can't hear anything. Indeed it is empty. So the first way you can record, we'll look at recording, is step mode. So you press step mode, and you can see at the minute what part we're on. We're on the crash, indicated by this LED here, and we can go through. So let's say I want the kick drum, and then you just simply enter where you want it to play. So we could just go for a four to the floor. And then you can just select another drum, so we'll go for the snare. And then we'll maybe add in some closed hats. And just keep going. Some open hats maybe. Put one there, put one there. So that's pretty much step record. It's that simple. There's also a thing called step jump, and if we press function and we activate that, it will actually let us just hold a certain step and it will just loop it. And you can get some quite cool effects with that. So the other way you can record is obviously just playing it in yourself live. So each of these you can just play. So let's clear that pattern, same way we did before. And it hasn't actually got a metronome, so it can be a little bit hard. So you might want to start off with just maybe programming in a hat maybe. In the step record mode, so I'll just put in something just to give me, oh, I've put in a tom, oh well, that'll do. So then if I just simply press record and just play in what I want, and it will quantize that to the closest thing as well, closest beat. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention is that it is possible to set the the volume level for each individual drum, and you simply do that by selecting which drum with the part selectors, and then just turning the dial to where you want it to be. Also, you can mute individual drums by holding the mute button and simply turning on or off the ones you want to mute. So that's pretty much it for live recording. You can also record your motion. So you can record the stutter effect and you can record the PCM speed. We haven't looked at the stutter effect yet, but if I just demonstrate with the PCM speed. So if you're using a PCM sound, like the clap, and if I record that, oh, obviously I haven't turned it on. So you turn it on, and now you can see it's on. It should now record. And there you go, it's recording my movements on the PCM speed. So the next thing we'll look at is the stutter effect. So this is kind of like a time effect, and really it's pretty simple. You've got these two dials, time and depth, and you just play around with them. And you can hear it's kind of delaying the sound. So the depth is kind of the amount of the effect, and the time is the delay time. And you can record that as well if you want. If you press function, we can turn that on and record those. which does give you some pretty cool effects if you play around with that and get something good out. You can also use active step. This lets you choose which steps are actually active, so you can turn certain ones off, and let's play that. And you can get some pretty weird time signatures by doing this. Come out of that by pressing one of those buttons again. And there is a clear option for that setting. If you want to turn all the steps back on, you can just hold function, hit that, and we've got all our steps back again. Here's your tempo dial. Pretty self-explanatory. So now let's talk about the I/O options. So you've got a MIDI input, so that would be good for receiving MIDI clock, or you may want to trigger the samples from your DAW or another controller. It's pretty easy to set up. And you also have a sync in and output. So if you have another device like the Minilog XD that also has a sync, you can either sync this to the Minilog clock or vice versa. So that's really useful in a live jam situation, and I have used it myself. So that is definitely cool to have. It would have been nice to have a MIDI through on there so we could chain it to other stuff, but again, for the price of this unit and the size of it, it is actually a really fun little machine that you can get a lot out of. So, and an analog sounds at that price point, you can't really complain. So the sync as well just connects with literally a normal auxiliary cable, nothing special, and it seems to work fine. You do have the option to power it with a 9-volt adapter. I've currently got it running with batteries. I believe it takes about 6 AA batteries. And to be honest, they've lasted quite a long time, so I'm quite impressed with the battery life. And the unit does also have a speaker built into it, so you don't need to connect it to anything if you just want to quickly make some beats. It's not great, but it's nice to have. So no complaints with that. So all in all, pretty cool little machine. Check out my jam video I did with it if you want to hear more like what it sounds like, and I'll put the card at the top now if you want to go check that out. Otherwise, remember to subscribe and have a good one. See you later.